and this is another edition of Cuts from the Streets, Memphis, Tennessee. We about to go out here and see what's going on with our people's minds on this wicked holiday. What's it called?
ThanksKilling.
ThanksKilling, because they
right.
thanking themselves for killing our people.
Right.
That's right.
So we got to find out what's going on with our people, man. You know, try to bring some edification on this thing right here. So that's what we about to do. We'll see y'all in a minute. Cut. How you doing, brother?
Doing good, brother.
What's your name again?
Khalif.
Khalif. Nice to meet you, Khalif. I'm Minicum.
Medical? Nice to meet
Minicum. All right, Khalif, I got a question for you. Has to do with Thanksgiving, of course. What do you know about Thanksgiving? What is your understanding of Thanksgiving?
So, I mean, my basic understanding of Thanksgiving is just like everyone else's, you know, and how it started, what it started for. But it really was just giving thanks for what the harvest that they harvest in, being around friends and family, and just understanding that we all give thanks to God and for Him giving us all the bountiful things that we have right now. So.
Okay.
What's going on, everybody? I'm chilling here with my main man.
Jay Finley, man. It's Jay Finley. I'm a gospel rapper out of Memphis, Tennessee. Yes, sir.
All right. So today we're just asking our people questions about Thanksgiving. So, Mr. J,
Yes, sir.
what's your thoughts on Thanksgiving and the knowledge that you have behind it?
Thanksgiving, a lot of people look at it as, you know, coming together and eating with your family. But it's so much more than that. You know what I mean? It's about fellowship. It's about getting to, you know, come together as a whole, maybe as under one union and all that good stuff, man, and kind of really realizing what you're there for, which is the giving part aspect of Thanksgiving, man. So that's pretty much what I take from Thanksgiving right now.
Okay.
All right, it's IUIC Memphis. Hey, it's Officer Daniel, man. I'm out here tonight with Brother Sire, man. We coming to our people directly in the streets. Hey, cuts from the streets. Hey, we asking our people some brief questions on Thanksgiving and their understanding of what Thanksgiving means to them. So, hey, Brother Sire, I got Brother Sire here. Give me your take on where does Thanksgiving derive from? Where is the origin behind Thanksgiving? Your take on it. There's no right or wrong answers. Just give me your take on where you believe the origins derive from.
I read a lot of books, and that one there I couldn't tell you. But information is good, and I would love to know. 'Cause I know there's a right, there's a wrong, and we've been lied to a lot.
Right. So, hey, you heard the brother. Hey, he said, hey, he don't know. A lot of our people don't like to swallow that pill and say that they don't know information.
All right, what's your name, ma'am?
Tanya Anderson.
Tanya Anderson. I'm Minicum.
Minica.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, sister, we know that we're into a holiday season right now, America's holiday season. What do you do for this holiday tradition?
Well, first of all, I like to start my day off and thanking the Lord for allowing myself and my family to see another day.
Okay.
And we just go about our tradition of preparing a meal and later on eating and
Okay.
watching television.
Okay. So
I'm here today with
James.
Mr. James. I'm here with Mr. James, and got quick questions. You know, there's no right or wrong answer, Mr. James. So the first question I would ask you would be, what's your take on Thanksgiving? What does Thanksgiving mean to you?
I think Thanksgiving means family being together, being thankful for each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think, you know, and being thankful that God kept us here.
Right.
God gives us life, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't nothing we doing, you know, because this is God's era. This ain't our era. You know, we can't do nothing. We can't do nothing without him.
Right. Okay, so
And
that's
now
your
let me
take
ask you
on-
this: do you have any history, knowledge of the history of Thanksgiving that you know?
I don't have too much knowledge of the history of Thanksgiving. A lot of people say that it's pagan this, pagan that. Because I do have a Christianity faith base, and a lot of things are pagan, you know, like Christmas and stuff like that. But people don't realize those things, and people don't take that thing, and then, you know, the universe, the world, it kind of clashed it together in one and just made it like this big market. You know what I mean? This market of just making money and all that good stuff, and you're not really in it for the right reason. So for me, Thanksgiving is about being around family, thanking God for what you have, giving back, and, you know, pretty much, you know, giving that aspect of it, man. So, yeah.
All right, well, look, I'm going to brief you on some things real quick. All right, so Thanksgiving. The history from a professor at the University of Connecticut. He was over the anthropology department. His name is William Newell, okay? He was a Penobscot Indian, all right? And he says that the first Thanksgiving was celebrated for the massacre of 700 Pequot Indians, which are in like the Maine area, okay? And then that actual day, if we fact check it, that actual day was instituted by Governor Winthrop. He was governor of what we would call back then the Massachusetts Bay Colony. All right, and he proclaimed that day Thanksgiving. Okay, and then 225 years later, approximately, Abraham Lincoln instituted it as a national holiday, right?
Yeah.
So that's where we get the tradition of Thanksgiving. Okay, so now let me ask you this: when you sit down and eat your Thanksgiving meal, what's on the table?
Man, dressing, turkey, ham, sweet potatoes, spaghetti, lasagna, the whole nine, man. The whole nine, man.
The whole A to Z. All right, hey,
Yeah.
and that's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing, but behind it now, you have to understand that a lot of this stuff has hidden meanings. You know what I mean? A lot of times they say if you want to hide something from a Negro, do what?
I don't know.
It's an old proverb. If you want to hide something from a Negro, put it in a book, because they know that a lot of times we don't like to read.
Gotcha,
all right?
gotcha.
And we're really...
What you said, man. Y'all read y'all books, man.
But really,
Y'all stuff, man.
the turkey, you know what that represented? Just think about the Native American Indians getting slaughtered, and then the Americans coming and celebrating a holiday of their massacre. What would you think the turkey would represent?
Captivity, maybe.
Well, it's actually the bodies of the Native American Indians.
Okay.
All right. Then the cranberry sauce is a representation of their blood, and the stuffing was their guts. All right. And I'm gonna show you that this stuff is in the Bible. Our history is recorded in the Bible as the Native American Indians. Give me Genesis 49:9. Now, God called the Native American Indians Gad, okay, which are the Native American Indians. So I want to read this scripture about this. Read.
Okay, this is the book of Genesis, chapter 49 and verse 19. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last.
So, if we know anything about history, we know that the Native American Indians were conquered by who? You have any idea?
The white man.
Yeah, you are ding, 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 100 points to you. Yes, but specifically, it was Andrew Jackson and the F Troop. All right, so read Genesis 49:19 again, because there's a key word in there too. You know what I mean? And it all lines up. This is not just by coincidence. All right, this is facts right here. I read.
Right.
Genesis chapter 49 and verse 19. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last.
So it says a troop will overcome him. What happened was that Andrew Jackson and the F Troop, all right, it was Colonel Chivington and Colonel Custer. Right. They all conquered the Native American Indians from the east side of the Mississippi. That's where you get the Trail of Tears from. Okay. If you ever seen the movie Wild Wild West before?
I have. Will Smith?
Right.
Yeah,
Colonel Custer was the guy with the little megaphone in his ear.
Gotcha.
That's who Colonel Custer was. That's what that movie Wild Wild West was all about. His name was Mr. Wild West. All right.
Got you.
And so that's where we get that part of history from. Like I said, it's little bits and pieces of our history in the Bible that they put in our face to see, like, do they know this? Are they still asleep or are they awake? You know.
Right.
So now let me ask you this: if knowing that Thanksgiving derived from the massacre of our brothers and sisters, that it's a celebration originally of the slaughtering and killing of Native Americans, but then we say we are a Christian-based country and thou shalt not kill is a commandment. Do you think that this is a holiday that we really should now be keeping?
I do not think that it's a holiday that you should keep, but I think if you know your heart and you know what you're doing it for, not really the food aspect of it, if you will, I feel like, just like a lot of people say, seeing is believing, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so a lot of people don't believe in God because they can't see him, right?
Right. I understand what you're saying.
Right. So at the same time, I feel like if you know what you're trying to portray, and you see what you're trying to portray, the whole world should not really matter what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? So as a whole body, I don't think if people knew the meaning like you're out here doing of Thanksgiving, then they should not celebrate that holiday in that aspect. But I also feel that if you want to celebrate something, you know what I'm saying, without giving it a title, keep that, same value of love, family, God, and whatever it is that you're doing. You don't even have to give it a date. That should be a daily routine. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, I definitely respect what y'all doing and understand completely what y'all doing, man. So that's a blessing, man. That's beautiful.
Right. So, and that's a great point, because I was thinking in my mind, does it have to really be on the actual day that they dedicated to be Thanksgiving? We could do this anytime. You know what I mean?
You should celebrate God any day.
All day, every day. You know what I mean? So that's what we're trying to do. We out here trying to wake up our people. We're trying to get them the knowledge of who they are and what this holiday is all about. And we would like to thank you for your time, bro.
Man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Okay. So another question. Where do Thanksgiving derive, or where does the origin of Thanksgiving comes from?
I don't know. I really don't know. But I know it's a spiritual thing. I know it's spiritual. I know it got to come from God, because it didn't come from us.
Sure.
I'm positive.
Okay.
Because God created all. So the Thanksgiving, some people like Christmas. It was his birthday. And Thanksgiving, so something had to happen before we knew anything about it, because Thanksgiving been around before we were born. And I'm in my 60s.
Right. All right, so Thanksgiving, we're just going to go into a little brief history of Thanksgiving, because it's a lot of things that they told us that they had us to believe, which wasn't true, and it's not documented in the Bible as far as being true.
Right.
So,
well, let me ask you this. What's your view on Thanksgiving?
Well, we're conducting the interview with you, but real quick, to sum it up, not make it a long statement, Thanksgiving, if it's not in the Bible, we don't celebrate it.
Well, I ain't no saw in the Bible, but when I saw that Bible, I knew y'all was up to something that was for real.
Right, and that's what we do. We come out and we come from the Bible.
I'm a foolish past knowledge, so I can learn.
Right. All praises to the Most High. But just to elaborate a little bit more on Thanksgiving, what Thanksgiving was originated off of, it was I heard you say you don't know, but it started from when the Europeans basically came to this land, and they basically killed over 100 million Native Americans from off this land that occupied the land. In the scripture, it tells you the tribes that came over. Give me 2 Ezra 13 and 40.
Well, okay. So where are we going with this?
We're gonna go to the Bible with this. We're gonna go.
She gonna get real.
No. She gonna be in there. She gonna be in there for a while. You know, women like to shop. But we're gonna come from out of the Bible.
Well, still, I believe in God. You know, I'm Muslims, and whatever. I believe in God.
Yeah, we believe in God too.
That's
Jesus
all it
the
is.
Christ.
Then, so if I'm wrong, things. I think Thanksgiving is a spiritual day. That's what I think.
Right, but that's what they taught us. But we're going to get out of the Bible, which the book that we solely believe in, and we're going to see what the book say, and we're going to agree with the book. Read that.
This is the book of Second Edges, chapter 13 and verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land.
So these are the 10 tribes, the northern kingdom of Israel. As you read the Bible, you'll find out that God has a chosen people, which is Israel. Now, 10 of the tribes, 12 tribes in all. 10 of the tribes was the northern kingdom of Israel, which Gad, the so-called Native American, was a part of. So it says they came over. Read on.
Which were carried away prisoners out of their own land.
So they was carried away prisoners out of their own land. Who else that happened to? That happened to us, the so-called blacks. We was carried prisoner out of our own land and brought over here. Read on.
In the time of Osir the king, whom Salmanazar, the king of Assyria, led away captive.
So this was the Syrian king at this time. They was in Assyrian captivity. They served hard bondage under them, so they was trying to come out from amongst the Syrian captivity. Read.
And he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land.
So they came into another land. But as it read on, you'll see it's going to further expound. So the Syrian king carried the 10 tribes, which is Native Americans a part of the tribe. And he carried them to another land. Read on.
But they took this counsel among themselves.
So the natives, out of the tribes, out of the 10 tribes, the natives in the other northern kingdom, they took it upon themselves to do something different. Read.
That they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth unto further country, where never
Further country. Listen. Read.
where never mankind dwelt.
Says where never mankind dwelt. So this, what they call in the Bible, this land was called the land of Osiris. Now they renamed it. They renamed it and changed it to the land of America.
Now I got a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, now what should I do now?
The thing that you give me Colossians 2 and 8. Give me Colossians 2 and 8 because the world, and it's all right to.
But still, it's not no abomination of the celebrating Thanksgiving, is it?
We're gonna see.
I can see what somebody celebrating Halloween. I into that.
Right.
know
Because
what
you
I'm
mentioned Christmas too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get what the Bible said.
Yeah.
So listen.
Celebrate Halloween.
Listen to what God say.
I can't see that.
Hey, listen to what God say about any holiday, whether it's Halloween, Christmas, Thanksgiving, any holiday. Read this.
The book of Colossians chapter 2 and verse 8. Beware.
It says, beware. That means look out, examine before you do this. Read.
Beware, lest any man.
At least any who?
Any man.
So at least any man. We're the subject that's at hand is talking about a man to beware of and what characteristics this man have. Read.
Lest any man spoil you.
Deceive you. Read.
Through philosophy.
Through philosophy.
Sheep with white clothes.
Right,
I know.
a sheep.
I know white clothes.
A sheep.
That's
That's in. Hey, you already know a wolf that's in sheep clothes.
Yeah.
Read on.
You can't be all this, but ain't none of that.
Right. That's why I says don't be tricked. Right. Read on.
Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit.
It says vain deceit, something that's basically don't hold value to God, and He don't want you to partake in it. Read.
After the tradition.
After the traditions, because that's what this word taught us. Just because we have been taught this, don't mean it's right according to God and in His eyes. Read.
After the tradition of men. After the rudiments of the world.
After the rudiments of the world. What you see around right now. It don't matter where you go. We done been to different locations, and the entire parking lot is filled with people going in stores to prepare for Thanksgiving tomorrow. This the rudiment of the world. This is what the world partake in. God said don't be a part of the world. Give me 1 John 2:15. God said, "Don't be a part of this world and partake in the things that they partake in." Because that's why He said, when He destroy the earth with fire next time,
Coming.
yeah. When He destroy the earth, He said He's gonna cut off. That's what I'm saying. He said He's gonna cut off 2/3 of our people. Read this right here.
This is the book of 1 John, chapter 2 and verse 15. Love not the
He
world.
said, "Love not the world." Read. He said, "Love not the world." Read on.
Neither the things that are in the world.
So it's 2 things. You can't love the world, nor the things that's in the world. Read.
Neither the things that's in the world. If any man love the world,
If you love what this world love, if you partake in what this world partake in, read.
the love of the Father is not in him.
The love of God is not in our people. That's the thing. Now we're going to go dip in a little bit more history of the so-called Native American, because the celebration that's about to come up is the slaughter, the genocide, the rape, rob, and murder of our Native Americans brothers. And we shouldn't be partaking. Yeah, we shouldn't be partaking in it. Listen, what if they had a day called Slave Day? Negro Slave Day. Would you like the other nations to be partaking in that?
We might have a Tarzan movie. Huh?
You have who?
A Tarzan movie.
You might as well. So that's the thing. We shouldn't be partaking in it because we deem and we look down on it, just like they shouldn't be. We look at them like they shouldn't be partaking in Slave Day if they created that, man.
Look, do y'all have a church or something for y'all?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got a card in my back pocket. Just as soon, yes, sir.
Okay.
That card has the number that you have if you have any questions concerning the Bible, and we're gonna go in the Bible and give you your answer out of the Bible. Native American story is mostly relegated to early grade history lessons, and school pays with all the messy genocidal bits glossed over with turkey features. In reality, the story of the first Thanksgiving at Plymouth Rock is complicated and political.
So this is the first Thanksgiving, right?
The first Thanksgiving at Plymouth Rock is complicated and political, and paved the way for European colonizers to capitalize on uneasy truces with the Angloan and Algonquin tribes of the northeastern United States. For many people of indigenous,
Hold on. Are you catching this now?
Oh, I understood the history.
Okay. Go ahead.
says the European colonizers to capitalize on uneasy truces with the Algonquin tribes of the northeastern United States. For many people of indigenous descent, celebrating Thanksgiving would be akin to feeding the arrival of Dutch slavers in Africa in the 17th century.
Okay, read that next part.
There's just no way to celebrate Thanksgiving without celebrating native genocide.
Whoa. Now that's deep. Now, when we celebrate Thanksgiving, us not knowing, we get with our family and friends and we do it as a day of, not we, because we don't do it anymore, but our people do it as a day of a celebration of family, giving thanks to things that we were given. But the Bible actually have days that we are supposed to do those days, do those things on. So we really don't have to go paganistic. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think of that now?
Well, I'm gonna put it this way. I'm not a big man on traditions. And already knew the history of Thanksgiving. Understanding that there's some things in history you cannot change.
That's right.
You can recognize, and you can commemorate, and you can celebrate where we are today and where we go tomorrow. So for me, Thanksgiving, and it has to be for anyone individually and their families on how they celebrate. For me, it is that, just that.
Okay.
Thanksgiving was originally about what group of people would we say?
Well, I was, taught in school about the Pilgrims, and that basically that's all I've ever been known to associate with, with the Pilgrims.
The Pilgrims and who else?
Indians.
And the Indians. So that's the premise, the baseline of it is about the Pilgrims and the Indians. Okay, so Thanksgiving, you say it's a time for us to give thanks. How do you think that the Native Americans or the Indians would feel about this time of year?
Well, actually, they're a race of people that you don't hear too much about. If you really stop to think, you would think there are no more Indians. Because you don't see them, you don't hear talk of them. Every now and then you hear something about what's going on the reservation, but other than that, they're here, but you don't see them.
Hey, Mr. Robert, I love that response, what you just made, sir, because the origin of Thanksgiving, as we know it, it is about the Pilgrims and the Indians, right? The colonists that came over here to America, right, and they pillaged the Indians. And Thanksgiving was actually started, the first day of Thanksgiving was in 1637, okay? Governor John Winthrop, okay, he said that this day would be celebrated in remembrance of the colonists slaughtering 700 men, women, and children of what we know as the Pequot Indians, okay? And they were actually celebrating what they were having like a green corn dance. That's what they call it. And it was actually called the Feast of Tabernacles in the Bible. Okay, so when we talk about the Native American Indians, they're actually called the tribe of Gad in the scriptures. All right, so I'm gonna show you this in the scriptures about the tribe of Gad, because they got conquered by Andrew Jackson and the F Troop. Okay, along with two more colonels that he had with him. So let's read this scripture. Call it and read it.
This is the book of Genesis chapter 49 and verse 19. Gad, a troop shall overcome him.
So it just said that Gad, which are today the Native American Indians, that a troop would overcome them. And so we know through American history, okay, this is biblical prophecy right here. This Bible was written thousands of years, okay, before the civil wars and things of that nature in America. So Moses is saying that Gad, a troop, will overcome you in the end. Okay, and what?
A troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last.
So, and I'm sorry, I said Moses. I meant to say Jacob. Okay, he's talking to his 12 sons, and he said that a troop will overcome you. The troop was Andrew Jackson and the F Troop. Okay, and he had two colonels with him. Colonel, I think his name was Castor. And the other one was, gosh, it starts with a C. It slipped my mind. I'm so sorry. And what they would do, they would rape, rob, and murder the people. Okay, and not only that Andrew Jackson, he was the president at the time. He used to have the skins of Native American Indians on the wall, okay, in the White House. And the other gentlemen that were with him, they would cut off like the genitalia and put it on their hats and on their guns to show that they have massacred the Indians, okay? So that's why I asked you, I said, what do you think the Native Americans would think about this? You know what I mean? So now, knowing that just a little dash of history, well, how do you think the Native Americans feel about this celebration that's going on nationwide, worldwide, internationally, about their destruction?
Well, if coming from the scripture like that, it'll be like a slap in the face.
Exactly. It is a slap in the face. It really is. And because a lot of times we don't know the origin and history behind things, we tend to a lot of times go along to get along. You know what I mean? Because we got to understand that we were brought here as slaves. Our ancestors were brought here as slaves, and we couldn't read, we couldn't write, And you got to understand the Native American Indians, once they got conquered, they were institutionalized with schools. So guess what? They had to learn American history. We had to learn American history. We always got taught things, and things got passed down that we didn't really have knowledge of. But now, in this day and time, we have to continue to educate ourselves. All right. So my next question is, so on Thanksgiving, what do we tend to eat? Tell me some of the things that you're gonna partake in on that day. Foods.
Well, the number one traditional thing is turkey. Dressing, corn, sweet potato pies, and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the main ingredients of Thanksgiving is usually the turkey, the dressing, and the cranberry sauce. Is that correct?
Right.
So, did you know that those three dishes have a significant meaning when it comes to what happened to the Native American Indians?
No, I didn't know that.
Had no idea, right?
No idea.
Let me tell you, the turkey was for the body of those that were slain.
Okay.
The cranberry sauce, what do you think the red cranberry sauce is? The what?
Blood.
And what do you think the stuffing was?
Guts.
Nail on the head. That's exactly what it means. And that's why they took the skins. They used to make leathers out of the Native American skins and everything like that. So that's what all that meant. You know what I mean? So it's a deep, dark history that we have to understand. You know what I mean? And not necessarily go along to get along, because now it seems like your wheels are spinning themselves. You're thinking like, could this be true? Is this really true? That's why we have to research. That's why we have to go and find things out, because now we're taking part of something that really doesn't have any representation of the Bible. Because, one of the commandments is what? Thou shalt not do what?
Kill.
Thou shalt not kill. So what does God have to do with the slaughtering of another race of people that are of the 12 tribes of Israel?
I would say nothing. We have nothing to do with it.
Exactly. And that's the same thing that we're saying, according to the scriptures. Okay? Give me that, you know what I want. All right.
Okay. This is the book of Colossians, chapter 2 and verse 8. Beware.
Hold on. What is it? If I say beware, Mr. Robert, what does that mean to you?
Be cautious. Be cautious. Be on the lookout.
So it does mean be cautious. Okay, read on.
Beware, lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit.
So it says beware, unless any man spoils you, meaning tricks you through what? Philosophy. Because they would say, hey, the Pilgrims came over here with the Indians and they were one big happy family, sitting down, eating turkey and things like that. That's what they would make you think that the holiday meant, right?
Right.
I mean, because you go look at TV, all the commercials, they got family time, everything is about family. But the actual history is the genocide and the rape, robbing, and pillage of the Native American Indians. Okay? Have you ever seen the movie Wild Wild West with Will Smith?
Yeah.
You have? Okay. Do you remember the character that had the little horn in his ear? And when he had the what was that gun? Gatling gun. Yeah, that was the guy with the horn in his ear was actually General Custer. That we're talking about from Andrew Jackson and the F Troop, and the things that they were doing with that Gatling gun and the things that they were doing to the people at that time was the same thing that they were doing to the Native American Indians. Now, have you ever heard of the Buffalo Soldiers?
Yep.
Tell me what you know about them.
Well, not a whole lot about the Buffalo Soldiers, but I think if my memory serves me right, they were a troop of blacks soldiers, and that's as far as what they actually did in that period. I don't know.
Well, the Buffalo Soldiers were soldiers, and they were attached with the colonists to help catch the Native American Indians because they were so fast. The colonists couldn't keep up with them. Okay. You know what I mean? So they asked the actual Buffalo Soldiers, which is the tribe of Judah, and the Mexicans, who are the tribe of Issachar, to help. No, I'm sorry. Benjamin, to try and catch the Indians because they were swift on their feet. So they couldn't catch them. So guess what? They had to go get the black man. They said, look, y'all need to catch these folk for us. And they slaughtered all the buffalo. They starved them out. Okay, took over their land. That's where you get what the Trail of Tears from East Mississippi River all the way to Oklahoma. So that's where that derived from. So that's why I'm saying that we have to understand our history. A lot of things that we celebrate unknowingly and not knowing the history behind it, even though we say, it's for family, but at the same time it can have a negative meaning behind it. So we got to take that time out to get an understanding of what it's all about so that we can be knowledgeable of all situations. Okay. Would you agree with that, Mr. Robert?
Yeah, I would agree with it.
All right. Well, look, I thank you for your time, sir. I know it's cold out here, but I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, you can say it. Okay.
I know during this, this day and time, with all information out there and ways of getting information, it's a lot of stuff that we are finding out that it's not, has been, kept under the rugs or in the dark, and lately, I just found out about, I don't know if y'all heard about the 13th. So how they, used the 13th Amendment against our own people. Oh yeah. That's another thing I just found out. And this here is something else that been brought up to me. So it doesn't surprise me. There are a lot of things that's going on now that we really don't know the true meaning of it.
Yes,
so
sir.
we just kind of go along with tradition. And as far as being of a black race, we really we've been kept in the dark.
Yes, sir.
A lot of years.
Yes, sir.
And I really appreciate the calls that y'all doing to bring to bring these to the light.
Yes, sir.
I do. I appreciate that.
All right.
All right, this has been Kush from the street, Memphis. Been out here on the streets talking to our people, trying to see where they are on Thanksgiving, and as we expected, they follow the traditions of our ancestors, of our parents, and a lot of our people don't want to change from those ways. But hopefully what we did was edify with the word of God to let them know what it said, what it's all about in this wicked holiday that's going on. You got some on that, bro?
Hey, I totally agree with you. The interviews that I had, they didn't have the knowledge, historical knowledge, the origin. They just thought that, hey, this is a time that we just gonna get together with family, and shoot, half our family don't even like each other. So, you're talking about coming together and being happy for family for this one day that America has told you to come together on, and not even knowing that it's the destruction of your people, man. We gotta wake up. We got more work to do, Israel. Daniel, what you got, man?
Man, I just see a lost state of people, man. A people that, the Most High God destroyed. I mean, he explained that, they was going to be, we as Israel, we're going to perish for a lack of knowledge. Our people don't have that knowledge that they need, man, in order to know that, hey, celebrating holidays, period, it's not of God, and when we go out there and bring forth the word of God to them, open their eyes up, we're that little bit of life that grant them to come to the understanding and to basically wake up, as we would say, to the law, statutes, and commandment, and an understanding of who they is, according to the Bible. So, we got a lot of work to do, man. We should take this job serious, Israel, and waking our people up, because once we seal the 144,000, our kingdom will be established. So
that's right.
It says shalom.
Shalom.
The tribute of God. We are not it so hard to serve God? And why when I say that I'm a Jew, it sound odd? For years I've been walking around saying that I'm a black